involved with Cycling Ireland, and you've been expanding out into sport as well. Great partnership with TG Cahill on the Aussie rules for the women each weekend. Great action down there. What was it about cycling that really sort of brought you to the party as such as it was?
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It's a great event and delighted to be involved. I suppose just for people who don't know, Gym+Coffee, a bit of a strange name. No, we don't have a gym, and no, we don't exactly sell coffee. But I suppose at its heart, Gym+Coffee exists to encourage people to live an active, healthy lifestyle, and one that encourages people to socialize around exercise. Hence the name of gym representing the exercise side of things, and coffee obviously just catching up, socializing with friends afterwards. So I think when you think about cycling and the lifestyle or the social side of it, it just makes a lot of sense that our values and the values of cycling as an activity, they really kind of go together quite well. So when I started chatting to Matt and Scott first, which was I'm not sure, maybe 18 months ago, they told me about their vision for cycling in Ireland over the next 3, 4, 5 years, and it fitted so naturally with what we were doing or what we were seeing in our community. I totally understand that there's an elite level of cycling, and there's a great very, very passionate community of people who are into racing and all that kind of stuff. But what we saw as the opportunity, or what you see in the trends, is just people who are really, really passionate now about taking up cycling as a leisure activity. And I think we as a company have been involved slightly in some of the greenway activity, and we see that in all aspects of sport or leisure in Ireland at the moment, that people are really, really keen to just live a bit more of an active lifestyle. So yeah, for us, it was the last year has kind of put the brakes on a lot of the plans that we would have had for our partnership with Cycling Ireland. It's great that we were still able to get it out there and do things like breaking bod on a bike in UCD in a lab. But for us, there's going to be a much bigger, more exciting partnership ahead, just because a lot of what we want to do is we want to walk our talk, so we actually want to do things as opposed to just say we're a partner or encourage people to do it. You actually want to give people events and opportunities to go to, and that's where we would see a big part of the partnership coming alive, I guess.
Great. Well, we're very much looking forward to that. And Sean, a very warm welcome to you as well. On the Kinetica side of it, are you focused more on the sort of the performance end of things, or are you looking to stretch performance into the rest of us who might not actually realize the benefits yet of consuming the product? Is that partly why you've got involved?
Yeah, I suppose that's, I think with the two, and Diarmuid mentioned there when he was spoken, is that it actually, what Cycling Ireland has done is it's very much aligned to what we want to do as a brand. So it's around not just educating maybe the elites and working with the high performance team there, but it's well educating the sort of the people that will be going out for cycles at the weekend that just wants to stay active and stay fit. Very similar to what obviously the Gym+Coffee guys do. So it's really, I suppose, about educating people on the benefits of maybe sports nutrition, but also outside of that, the benefits of food nutrition as well. But the Cycling Ireland and their vision for the future and how they wanted to get people more active, it actually fitted quite well with what we were doing as a brand, because we were going under a transformation at that period of time, very similar to the guys in Cycling Ireland. And although it's had its challenges over the last 12 months in particular, what we found is that it's, as a partner, they're very engaging, which is absolutely brilliant. We work closely with not just say Scott, but also the high performance team and the athletes as well. So it's important for us as a brand to work closely with our partners, to engage with them, and particularly at this point in time when we can't go to events, that we're looking at different areas or different avenues to maybe to grow the partnership, to educate people through maybe a social media platform. So that's pretty much where we are aligned to with the team in Cycling Ireland. And it's been a great success, I have to say. Even though it's had its challenges, it has been a fantastic success for us, because what you want as a brand or as a partner is that they come to you with ideas as well. And we have that relationship, which is really, really positive. So thankfully, over the last, since the partnership began, it's been going very well for us.
I see Diarmuid nodding away there as well in terms of the good partnership. Like, what is it? You both work with a number of different partners. Sean, we saw from the video clip there, Connacht Rugby, Dublin GAA, Swim Ireland, all sorts of different bodies. What you're looking for in a partner, you mentioned there about sort of engagement and that. Is that something which comes naturally to sporting organisations, or is it something that you found that that is really important to you, but we need a little bit more education on the sporting side?
Yeah, I think it historically, I suppose it can be, it's about how much you engage with them. It's not a matter of, obviously, whether it's a sports nutrition brand, given product, it's how you engage actually with them and that organization. So what we do with all of our partners is that we will work very closely with them in terms of building out a plan for them, but also for the athletes in particular. And COVID has been obviously a challenge for many people. What it's allowed us to do as a brand, it's allowed us to understand the athlete an awful lot better. It's allowed us to actually speak to the high performance team to make sure that our products fit with their needs and how we can improve. And that's what we want to do with all of our partners. It's to build on the relationship that we currently have, which is very strong across the partnerships that we currently have, but also how we can learn from them. And as a brand, that's what we're very much open to. It's we work, as mentioned, like Connacht Rugby over in the UK, West Ham United Women, and that's fantastic, because we get to learn about different sports, and women in sport, which is key at the moment. So that's what we try to do as a brand. And with Cycling Ireland, it's all about inclusivity, and for us as well with Kinetica, it's about engaging, education, and trying to have, I suppose, a purpose of where and when sports nutrition can be used within your daily life, but also within an exercise program as well. Yeah,
absolutely key on the women in sport side of things as well. We'll be hearing from Eve McChrystal a little bit later on, genuine superstar in Irish sport. The question of sponsorship and how that fits. Diarmuid, you're active out there across a number of different media. I can't turn left or right without feeling as though I'm surrounded by the Gym+Coffee brand, which is great. Probably won't be targeting people that are younger than me, but that's neither here nor there. You'll catch us all. How does sponsorship, how does a partnership with a sport fit into the wider sense of your marketing spend? When you sit down at the beginning of the year and think, I need to get more people more aware of my brand, where does a partnership like this fit in?
To be honest, it's a vital part. It wasn't a part up until 18 months ago when I started talking to Scott and Matt, because we would never have considered ourselves, kind of at that level. We kind of thought it was a bigger table for bigger brands. And I think it's not until you actually have real conversations with real people and develop the relationships that you understand that you can add value and they can add value to you. But certainly I would have had, maybe a bit of an inferiority complex kind of going into those conversations where you're like, no, we're not at that level. And obviously, the last 12 months have been quite good to us as a brand and as a company. But, you obviously have a certain blind spot in a certain area. So cyclists or cycling can be a niche at times. And we just want to break into different communities that are doing things that share our values, but are kind of relatively new to us. So even working, closely with Scott, we're not trying to pretend to be a cycling brand either. We are kind of your athleisure partner, your athleisure supplier, even for cyclists who are leisurely cycling. We're You're not going to wear our gear all of a sudden like to the Olympics or anything like that. But it all kind of fits into us just trying to grow the interest in different areas. You know, at the moment we're trying to do that in running in different areas as well, just because so many people have been running in the last 12 months or have taken up running, whether that's 5K, 10K, half marathon. So for us, it's looking at, you know, what works authentically, to be honest, and do people actually share your values. We've started, as you mentioned, you know, we've a sponsorship now of AFLW on TG Cahir, which for us, it just makes total sense as a brand. There was no forced, you know, there was no forced strategy there, or, you know, just like that aligns with our values. We partnered last year with an organization called the Sanctuary Runners, which brings people who live in direct provision together to socialize around running, which again just totally aligns with our values. So we aren't looking to kind of pick out random partnerships or sponsorships. It's kind of things that are just an extension maybe of what we're already doing. And then I think our community sees that then as very, very authentic. So it's not forced. It's a natural progression. The reaction that we got to the Cycling Ireland announcement was brilliant, because I think we did it in the right way. We did it with Brian O'Driscoll, who's our head of community. So if the audience react to it, you know, quite positively, but equally we interviewed and kind of put a spotlight on Lara Gillespie and Matthew Campbell, who are, you know, young people who people can connect with. They're not superstars yet, you know, at a very high profile level, but they are people who I think people would aspire to be right now, you know. So for us, it all kind of feeds into just this growing momentum that everyone feels around an increasing level of sport, fitness, health and wellness that, you know, is only a good thing for the country, I think.
We're all about sort of forging those right kind of connections and the collaborations as well. Like you'd see that as well, Sean. You know, some of the content that you're producing, both of you are producing, you know, is on a par with something that you might expect from you know, a Coca-Cola or you know, sort of a major global brand involved in the Olympics. But you're not putting it onto television screens all around the world. You're really targeting an audience that you grow and bring with you. Is that something that is, you know, is very detailed in terms of how you plan, Sean? So, you know, you will have activations that will be coming out now. Is it almost a case when you get involved with a challenger sport or a surge sport like cycling is at the moment, that you're almost doing it on small groups? It's almost like a one-to-one form of marketing.
Yeah, it is, and like with all of our partners, that's what we try to do. It's you know, you're building out. It's building out a foundation, but it's a solid foundation. And the foundations that we have with, say, Cycling Ireland, for example, is built on a strong relationship that we would have with Scott, and then I suppose targeting then for the you know, people that would be active cyclists or maybe weekend cyclists, and then educating as we go, because within sports nutrition is that education is a key thing. So and when we listen to or speak to the high performance team within Cycling Ireland, or even any of the athletes, say Mark Downey or Lara, for example, to get feedback from them on our products and how we can improve it. So it has to be a two-way conversation. And as a brand, we're always very much open to that. So we try to build in a plan on how we can work moving forward, and keep engaging with the guys, say with Scott and Cycling Ireland, just to see what we can do. But what's fantastic for us is that when ideas start coming from the guys to you, and how we can really grow the brand, and what they've done in terms of doing education, in terms of obviously the Zwift leagues, which is very important, then using Matteo as well for education for cyclists. So it's engaging with not just the Scott, but also the wider team as well, because that's, people need to feel involved with the brand, and that's what we try to do, is to incorporate everybody from the senior execs down to maybe the athletes, because at the end of the day, you know, if the athletes are performing and the sport is going to be a success, then the relationship is only going to continue to grow. Okay,
what's your sense of confidence about how much of 2021 we're actually going to be able to, really sort of get out there and activate. Are we in a space of another 3 to 4 months, maybe beyond, in terms of being mainly digital, mainly, online focused?
It's a good question. To be honest with you, it's as a brand, I think we Kinetica adapted very quickly when we went into lockdown March of last year. But thinking on the positive side of things, is that with our partners is what we've done over the last number of years, or over the last year, has worked really well by having that existing relationship and strong relationship. I would love to be able to get out to events. I'm not overly confident that it's going to happen over the next couple of months. But what we have to do is we just have to keep working on a plan and working with the partnership to really engage with the Cycling Ireland community and what they're trying to achieve and grow cycling in Ireland. And then what we can do then, once the events are obviously back open, is that go and speak to people and just really enjoy being in the cold face of the events, because that's what you want to do as a brand. Like, as Diarmuid mentioned earlier on, you'd be signing up to a lot of events that have got cancelled. So you have to be able to adapt and move fairly quickly as a brand to grow your presence elsewhere. And if you aren't agile enough in order to do that, you're going to be stuck. So we've been able to work very closely with all of our partners to look at different options to educate, whether that be through the Zwift, whether it be through takeovers on social media. And that's brought the brand to life a little bit more as well, because people get to understand the athlete, in particular, say Lara or Mark Downey, but also the Cycling Ireland community as well. But it also allows me, who would look after the partnership, to really become involved as well with listening to the athletes and maybe working in and around products that would be beneficial for them as we move forward in the relationship.
And Diarmuid, one for you as well. How long is it going to be, do you think, before we can actually meet and swap stories about how we got our Gym+Coffee nice hoodie jacket, which I see you modeling there at the moment. So, it's all very well being out there one-on-one, but we want to be out there as groups. Is that something that you're planning for in terms of your activations and your marketing for the rest of the year as well?
Yeah, we're very, very, very optimistic for the summertime. I think it's, you quickly forget how good last summer was, in that this thing that we've all endured hasn't really gone on for 12 months. It kind of went on for 3 months, then it took a break for a few months in the summer, and then it came back again. So I would be very hopeful for the summertime, but I would agree with Sean wholeheartedly in that it won't be, I don't think it's going to be any mass events or anything like that. And then it will be the organizations and the brands that kind of react in a kind of an agile way to what's going on. So we would be very hopeful for holding some events, but it would probably be smaller numbers and maybe quickly organizing them. But I think from a kind of a consumer sentiment point of view, I know Behavior and Attitudes have some research coming out, I think, in the next week, where the consumers have big plans for this summer. Whether we like it or not, they want to do everything. They want to have the best party they've ever had, the best dinner out they've ever had, the best house party they've ever had. And I think part of that is going to be health and fitness and wellness and cycling as well. So I think people have big plans, and the organizations that can kind of provide the kind of solutions there or experiences there will really benefit from that. So we're getting kind of prepared for that, but we're not deluded either. I don't think you're going to see thousands and thousands of people at events, but I still think people will have a huge desire for something where they can experience things with others or with new people, people that they haven't been looking at 12 hours a day for the last 12 months. So yeah.
That's fair enough. Well, look, as we prepare to live our best lives as soon as we possibly can, or as soon as we're allowed, we're going to need to be well dressed. So you look after that. We're going to need to be able to perform well. So Sean, you're going to be able to look after that. Thank you both very much for taking the time out to be with us this morning. We're doing some research at the moment. We do a sport industry monitor, and that's in the 4th wave. looking with brands, members of Sport for Business, like yourselves and like many in the room now, that will be able to share your own sense of confidence and well-being about what's planning, what's coming ahead. So I think I'm looking forward very much in the next few weeks to getting that out there as well. But for the moment anyway, Sean Prunty from Kinetica Sports and Diarmuid McSweeney from Gym+Coffee, thank you very much.